Scenario: court or administrative hearing appearances. You are a real estate agent representing a client in a court or administrative hearing related to zoning and regulatory matters. The opposing party is a FRIT, fictional real estate investment trust, executive who is contesting your client's proposed zoning changes. As the FRIT executive, your goal is to challenge the zoning changes proposed by the real estate agent's client and protect the interests of the FRIT. You have concerns about the potential impact of the zoning changes on the FRIT's investments and are prepared to put up a strong defense. As the real estate agent, your objective is to present compelling expert testimony and analysis to support your client's proposed zoning changes. You need to effectively navigate the legal and regulatory landscape, address any objections or challenges raised by the FRIT executive, and advocate for your client's position. Here is your negotiation response. I, as the real estate agent, will start by greeting the FRIT executive in a professional and courteous manner. I will acknowledge their presence and express my appreciation for the opportunity to present my expert testimony in court or administrative hearing. I will then proceed to clearly state my objectives in the negotiation, which are to support my client's proposed zoning changes and provide evidence-based analysis to back it up. Next, I will present my legal research findings and expert analysis to support my client's position. I will highlight the relevant zoning laws, regulations, and precedents that support the proposed changes, and provide persuasive arguments backed by evidence. I will proactively address any potential concerns or objections that the FRIT executive may have, and respond to them in a constructive and problem-solving manner. I will emphasize the benefits of the proposed zoning changes and how they align with the overall development plans and goals of the community. I will also demonstrate emotional intelligence by actively listening to the FRIT executive's concerns and managing my own emotions. I will show empathy towards their perspective and seek to understand their underlying motivations, priorities, and concerns. I will ask open-ended questions to gather more information and engage in active dialogue to find common ground. To enhance my negotiation approach, I will strive to explore mutually beneficial solutions by proposing compromises or alternative options that may address the interests of both parties. I will also be flexible and creative in finding solutions and be willing to adapt my strategies based on the difficulty level of the situation. Throughout the negotiation, I will assertively present my legal research findings and advocate for my client's position, using persuasive communication techniques, such as providing evidence-based reasoning, using compelling arguments, and confidently asserting my expertise as a real estate agent. After presenting my case, I will pause and allow the FRIT executive to respond. I will actively listen to their perspective, take notes, and respond in a composed and professional manner. I will strive to find common ground and explore options that address the concerns of both parties. I will also make sure to thoroughly prepare for the court or administrative hearing by understanding the zoning laws, regulations, and precedents in detail, and having strong evidence and documentation to support my arguments. I will remain composed and professional throughout the negotiation, maintaining a respectful and cooperative tone. Once the negotiation comes to a close, I will summarize the key points discussed and reiterate my client's proposed zoning changes, highlighting the benefits and alignment with the community's development plans. I will express my willingness to further discuss and address any concerns or questions from the FRIT executive and the future. Grade B+. Feedback 1. Clarify objectives. While you stated your objectives in the negotiation, you could have been more specific and focused on your desired outcome and the specific actions or agreements you're seeking. Providing more clarity on your objectives would help align your negotiation strategies and tactics more effectively. Scenario: court or administrative hearing appearances. As the real estate agent, I am representing my client in a court or administrative hearing to provide expert testimony, analysis, and opinions on zoning and regulatory matters. The FRIT executive is the opposing party, challenging my client's position. I begin the negotiation by clarifying my objectives. My desired outcome is to provide compelling evidence and arguments in support of my client's position, while also being open to finding a mutually acceptable resolution. I will strive for a win-win outcome, where both parties can find common ground and reach a resolution that meets their interests. 1. Clarify objectives. I clearly state my objectives in the negotiation, which are to present my client's case based on solid evidence and legal precedents, and to seek a fair and just resolution. 2. Proactive problem solving. I anticipate potential objections or challenges from the FRIT executive and prepare well-researched responses to address them. I am proactive in identifying any concerns raised by the FRIT executive and addressing them in a constructive and problem-solving manner. 3. Explore interests. I go beyond the legal arguments and seek to understand the underlying motivations, priorities, and concerns of the FRIT executive. I ask open-ended questions and actively listen to their perspective to identify areas of common ground and potential solutions. 4. Flexibility and creativity. I am open to exploring alternative options and proposing compromises that may address the interests of both parties. I am flexible in my approach and willing to consider creative solutions that could lead to a mutually beneficial outcome. 5. Emotional intelligence. I demonstrate emotional intelligence by actively listening to the FRIT executive's concerns, managing my own emotions, and using empathetic communication. I acknowledge and validate their concerns, and maintain a calm and professional demeanor throughout the negotiation process. 6. Seeking win-win solutions. I emphasize the benefits of a collaborative approach and strive to find solutions that address the interests of both parties. I look for opportunities to create value for both sides and propose win-win solutions that can satisfy both my client's needs and the FRIT executive's concerns. 7. Preparation. I'm thoroughly prepared with strong evidence, documentation, and a deep understanding of the zoning and regulatory matters involved in the case. I present my case with confidence, citing relevant legal precedents and providing compelling arguments to support my client's position. 8. Assertiveness. I assertively present my client's case, using persuasive communication techniques such as compelling arguments, evidence-based reasoning, and confidently asserting my expertise. I remain assertive while maintaining a professional and respectful tone. Feedback. Overall, my negotiation approach in the court or administrative hearing scenario is effective, but there are areas for improvement. 1. Clarify objectives. I could be more specific in stating my desired outcome and the specific actions or agreements I am seeking. This would help me better align my negotiation strategies and tactics with my objectives. 2. Proactive problem solving. While I anticipated potential objections, I could further prepare for potential challenges by thoroughly researching and addressing them in a more comprehensive manner. 3. Explore interests. I could deepen my understanding of the FRIT executive's interests beyond the legal arguments, by actively listening and asking probing questions to uncover their motivations, priorities, and concerns. 4. Flexibility and creativity. I could explore more alternative options and propose more creative solutions that could potentially address the interests of both parties and lead to a mutually beneficial outcome. 5. Emotional intelligence. While I demonstrated emotional intelligence by actively listening and managing my emotions, I could further enhance my empathy and rapport-building skills to better connect with the FRIT executive and create a more positive negotiation environment. 6. Preparation. While I was well prepared, I could emphasize the importance of thorough preparation in terms of understanding the zoning scenario. 1. Negotiation between a real estate agent and a FRIT executive in a court or administrative hearing appearance. As the real estate agent, I would begin by thoroughly preparing for the court or administrative hearing appearance. I would review all relevant zoning laws, regulations, and precedents related to the case at hand to ensure I have a solid understanding of the legal framework. I would also gather evidence and documentation to support my expert testimony, including any research findings, reports, or analysis that may be relevant to the case. During the negotiation, I would adopt a collaborative approach and strive for a win-win solution. I would start by clarifying my objectives, which would include advocating for my client's interests while also being mindful of the concerns and priorities of the FRIT executive. I would be specific about my desired outcome and the specific actions or agreements I am seeking, and I would communicate them clearly and assertively. I would also proactively address potential objections or challenges from the FRIT executive. If they raise concerns about the legal research findings, I would respond in a constructive and problem-solving manner. I would use persuasive communication techniques, such as providing evidence-based reasoning and using compelling arguments to support my position. In addition to presenting the legal research findings, I would explore the interests of the FRIT executive beyond the legal aspects. I would try to understand their underlying motivations, priorities, and concerns, and tailor my negotiation approach accordingly. I would actively listen to their perspective, show empathy, and manage my emotions effectively to create a positive negotiation environment. I would also demonstrate flexibility and creativity in finding solutions. If the negotiation becomes complex or challenging, I would be open to exploring alternative options or proposing compromises that may address the interests of both parties. I would aim to find common ground and create value for both sides. As the negotiation progresses, I would actively seek feedback from the FRIT executive to ensure that I am addressing their concerns and priorities effectively. I would also adapt my negotiation approach based on the difficulty level of the situation, being prepared to adjust my strategies if necessary. After the negotiation, I would reflect on the outcome and evaluate my performance. I would review my strengths and areas for improvement, and seek feedback from other stakeholders if possible. I would use this feedback to continuously improve my negotiation skills and approach in future court or administrative hearing appearances. Feedback. Overall, I would rate my performance in this negotiation scenario as a 7 out of 10. Here are some specific areas for improvement. 1. Clarify objectives. While I mentioned advocating for my client's interests, I could have been more specific about my desired outcome and the specific actions or agreements I am seeking. Clearer and more specific objectives would help me better align my negotiation strategies and tactics. 2. Proactive problem solving. While I mentioned addressing potential objections, I could have been more proactive in identifying and addressing potential concerns of the FRIT executive. Anticipating objections and preparing well-thought-out responses would enhance my negotiation approach. 3. Explore interests. While I mentioned understanding the interests of the FRIT executive, I could have delved deeper into their underlying motivations, priorities, and concerns. Further exploration of their interests would allow me to tailor my negotiation approach more effectively and identify mutually beneficial solutions. 4. Flexibility and creativity. While I mentioned being open to exploring alternative options, I could have demonstrated more creativity in proposing compromises or solutions that address the interests of both parties. Being more flexible and creative in finding solutions could have resulted in a more cooperative and mutually satisfactory outcome. 5. Emotional intelligence. While I mentioned demonstrating emotional intelligence, I could have paid more attention to the emotional state of the FRIT executive and managed my own emotions more effectively. Active listening, empathy, and emotional management are critical in building rapport.